What's up, guys? Welcome to the Jodiff Entertainment channel. I hope you're all having a good day. And today I will be reviewing some more new cards that have been revealed in the last few days. I think we have 5 different cards, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Um, Starting with, we have 2 new Radiant Typhoon cards. Let's go over here and read these real quick. Okay, so we have first card, Radiant Typhoon Varun, Varurun, the Sea Spirit. It's a link to Wind Aqua Link Effect Monster, 0 attack. Requires 2 Radiant Typhoon monsters, and the effects are if this card is link summoned, you can add 1 Mystical Space Typhoon from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can target 2 face-up monsters on the field, including a Radiant Typhoon monster you control. Place them face-up in their owner's spell and trap zones as continuous spells. And if a quick play spell card is activated, you can place 1 Radiant Typhoon continuous trap from your deck or graveyard on your field face-up. So this card, a few opinions I have on this. So the first effect, almost every card in the Radiant Typhoon deck adds Mystical Space Typhoon. It's nice to have a Link monster that can do this. I would have honestly liked to see this just be generic, um, because I think it would be cool if we had a generic Link too that just added Mystical Space Typhoon. It would be um, it would be nice or helpful for situations where floodgates are on the field, and if you had something that could get you a Mystical Space Typhoon, maybe more people would be willing to play the card in other decks. But it does require 2 Radiant Typhoon monsters, so it's not generic, unfortunately. But the fact that in the regular Typhoon deck, you have other effects that you want to resolve. While a lot they do have cards. I think specifically the quick play spells can add Mystical Space Typhoon, and then they can also do the other effect, depending on which one you're activating. But basically, this card allows you to add Mystical Space Typhoon for free if you summon it. There's no cost, you're not losing out on anything, and it makes it where you could potentially add Mystical Space Typhoon multiple times. Let's say you do add it with one of your other spells. This card basically can get the Mystical Space Typhoon back from your graveyard. So um, the first effect is not bad, and then that's obviously good for removing, certain spell and traps that you want to get rid of, depending on matchups. The second effect I think is weird because, okay, so while this effect is good, target 2 face-up monsters, a Radiant Typhoon, which can be this card itself, and then another monster, and you put them in the spell and trap zone. The problem is, the Radiant Typhoon monsters, they like to be summoned from the hand if your opponent controls no spell and traps. And because this treats them as continuous spells, I don't understand why they would put this effect on a Link monster. It basically shuts down all of your monsters from being special summoned from the hand. And it's good removal, but I don't understand. This seems like an effect that should be on like a Snake Eyes card, not a Radiant Typhoon card. So um, that's yeah, I don't understand really why they chose this effect. It's more like a Snake Eyes effect than a Radiant Typhoon effect. But the effect is okay for breaking boards. And then the last effect basically allows you to if you activate a quick play spell, you can pretty much you're going to be able to activate that continuous trap that the deck plays. That continuous trap basically allows MST to become a negate, but you have to chain the card to MST. So basically, and I believe it's a win effect. So all your opponent has to do is chain something, and then you can't use it. That trap is okay, but it's kind of gimmicky. So I don't even know. And honestly, I'm not even sure if this deck has any other continuous trap cards. We could go take a look real quick. Might as well just to make sure that I'm getting the full picture. We'll go take a look at Dueling Book here and see. I think they only have one, but I could be wrong. Um, okay, yeah. So it's this card, and then okay, so it does have this other effect, where once per turn, target 3 quick play spells, shuffle them into the deck, draw one, and then the attack gain. And then if it's destroyed by MST, you can set it. It's so this is the only one you can set. It's I think this card is I think this card is a decent board breaker. Going back to the tier list here. So this card honestly it's not bad. It's not a staple. I mean, so I think I might need to make a new category during the next video I do about reviewing new cards. That says like staple for the archetype that it's in or something like that, because a lot of these cards are not going to be generic cards. So maybe next time I'll tweak some of these. But for now, this card, it's it's I'm going to say, or maybe just take out staple, and just have like strong, average, bad, so I can say if I think a card is is it really strong, is it average, or is it bad? Honestly, if we're gonna do that, let's just go ahead and remove this here. So strong, average, bad. Let's keep it simple. This card is average in my opinion, because just mainly because I don't, like I said, I don't understand why it has an effect that would cut off your other Radiant Typhoon monsters um, effects from being special summoned, and the effect to add mystical space Typhoon is not that great in 2025, and then the effect to activate that continuous trap is extremely average as well. So it's an average card. Moving on to the next Radiant Typhoon card, we have Radiant Typhoon Elation. Quick play spell, activate one of these effects, but you can only use one. You can only use each of these effects with this card's name once per turn. Special summon one level 6 or lower Radiant Typhoon monster from your graveyard, and then the effect that all of them have, add one Mystical Space Typhoon from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and if it's destroyed by Mystical Space Typhoon, you can set it. So basically, this card is going to allow you to special summon level 6 or lower, right? So you can't summon the big guys, but you can summon Eldum, Cresea, Swen, and Megala. So any of these you can bring up from the graveyard, and then this card, I believe, yeah, it lets you add 2 cards. So you special summon this from the graveyard, you can get MST and a Radiant Typhoon, or any of the other ones, you can get their effects. This card is decent. It's basically just a revival spell, more recursion for the deck. I don't think that this card is, you know, amazing, but it it's nice. It's a nice card. I'm going to say that because it can revive one of the monsters, but I don't really know like how much that actually does for them. So for now, I'll put it in average. This card is not extremely strong. It's just an average card. It's a reborn card. A lot of decks have these cards, and that's where I'll put that. Next, we're going into the next 3 cards, which are support cards for all of the Justice Hunters archetypes. So let's go over here and read. I believe the trap is first on the list, so we'll go with the trap. Assist Yummy, continuous trap card. Once per turn, during the standby phase, you can gain 100 life points, then your opponent pays 100 life points. That effect is terrible. During the main phase or your opponent's battle phase, you can send 2 face-up Yummy cards you control to the graveyard, including this card. Return 1 card from the field or graveyard to the hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, send 1 Yummy card from your deck to the grave. Um, I I don't think this card is very good, to be honest. I mean, like, this effect here is okay. This effect, I don't even think Yumi really cares about trying to send their monsters. They don't even need to do that. Honestly, I think this card, if I'm being honest, is bad. Like, it's not a bad card, when you just read what it does, and if Yummy, didn't already have so many amazing combos, maybe you could say like, okay, this card is average, but with the way the deck plays and knowing that they don't need this card, it's a bad card, and I'll leave it at that. Okay, so then going to the next card, the Dracotail Fusion. Dracotail Sharus, level 6 Light Dragon Fusion Effect Monster, 2400 attack, 1500 defense. We have one Dracotail monster plus one monster in your hand. Um, you can target two Dracotail cards in your graveyard and one face-up card on the field of the same type as either of them monster, spell, or trap. Shuffle all three into the deck. And then if two or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. This card is um, this card is underwhelming. I don't think this is really what the deck needed. Um, it's This card can help you going second. It's more, it helps more board breaking, but it does nothing on your opponent's turn. And I think the first effect would have been a lot more helpful if it was a quick play, because then if you had like a Gulamel and you had this, you would be able to, you'd have one shuffle and one pop, one destroy from Gulamel. That would be pretty strong. But the fact that you can only do this on your turn is a little disappointing. Um, the card the card is not bad. It's not bad at all, but it's definitely average. I would put it, I think, here in the middle between these two Radiant Typhoon cards. This spell is a reborn spell, so honestly, it might be a little bit better. I mean, it's a fusion. I'll put it just a tad bit above that, but it's not. I don't think it's super strong. I think it just helps going second. And Dracotail only have really a few ways they can fuse on one turn, so you only get the opportunity to make two fusions unless you have like a poly, or you have to have other ways to fusion like Artesia, things like that. So you may not even be able to make this, and going first it does nothing. Also, like, your opponent is not going to have any cards to shuffle back. So, and then like the deck, you actually really prefer to have your Dracotail monsters in the graveyard. You don't want to be shuffling them into the deck because, you have cards like Pan and things like that you just want to keep in the graveyard, and then like Malulu in case your fusions get destroyed, you can special summon it with the Pan. The effect is just not that great. It's good for board breaking, but besides that, it's underwhelming. And then the last card, which I saved for last on purpose because this card is fantastic. So we got Canine X Ripper Millennia. This is a rank 9, Wind Beast XYZ effect, 3100 attack, 2600 defense, 2 level 9 monsters, generic. And it says, if this card is special summoned by a canine spell / trap effect, you can target up to 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard or banishment, shuffle them into the deck. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing. And when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card, negate that effect, then destroy all cards on the field. This card speaks for itself. Let's just go down the line here. First of all, generic rank 9. So any deck that can make rank 9s generically can make this. You won't get this effect because it has to be summoned by a canine, but if you're playing canine and you summon this off of the quick play spell, you can target two cards in your opponent's graveyard or banishment and shuffle them into the deck. That is an amazing effect. That's a fantastic effect. That alone would make the card decent. But then we go to the second effect where it just happens to have piercing. This doesn't matter that much. A lot of monsters may not even be in defense, but it does mean that even if your opponent summons their monsters in defense position on their first turn, and you go second, and they have some monsters in defense. If you attack with this, and they have a low defense, you can do a pretty hefty amount of damage because it has 3100 attack. The last effect is insane. When your opponent activates a monster effect attached to materials from this card, negate that effect, then destroy all cards on the field. Woo! That last effect is insane. Basically, the first effect you can mess with your opponent's graveyard and even the banish zone. So like even Malice, this card can be annoying against Malice. Like let's say they do like Gold Sark or a Lore of Darkness, and then you chain the quick play, you summon this, and then they have to banish a Malice. They try to summon it, and you just chain link to shuffle it back into the deck. Um, but the last effect, any monster effect attached to materials, not only are you negating it, but you're going to destroy all cards on the field. The only bad thing about this effect that I can think of is that so usually K9 likes to summon Ripper and then set the quick play spell. And right now you like to go for Werewolf on the opponent's turn to rip a card out of the opponent's hand. But let's say you wanted to make this instead for some reason. If you make this and then you want to negate a monster effect, um, if you have other pieces on your board, they will get destroyed. This is kind of like something where you would really need to make sure you use it at the correct time. Um, Another cool thing about this card is that let's say that you are playing K9 and something else, and you summon Ripper, and you are able to get Lantern on the field, and you're able to get your quick play spell on the first turn, and you might actually want to consider activating that quick play spell on Ripper and summoning out this guy immediately. Um, maybe like um, at some point in your turn, if you wanted to be able to negate a monster effect. But the only thing about that is that Ripper already negates monster effects in the hand or grave, so you don't really have to worry about things like Nibiru or Ash or anything like that once you do that. But a case where you might want to summon this is like if you've already used Ripper to negate and you think they have another hand trap. Even at that point, though, they might be down on cards, so may not even be that important. I think that the best things about this card are that it can manipulate the graveyard or the banish zone, and then I honestly think that you would summon this on your opponent's turn, like right at the moment after you use all of your other effects to try to stop your opponent from doing whatever they're doing, and you know they have like one more monster effect that they need to resolve to keep pushing on their turn. And then you go and you summon this, and remember, not only would you then be able to negate a monster effect, but you would be able to destroy a card with the quick play spell. Um, that does, however, make me I do realize that um, when you usually if you have Ripper on the field, um, it would need to have another material. So you would have needed to not have used Ripper's effect to negate a monster effect or a graveyard effect, because if you did and you summoned this, you would not be able to use the effect to negate because it needs two materials. Sorry about the yawning. And then so yeah, you can't use Ripper's effect to negate before you do this. That's something to think about. Generally, I mean, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of thinking that needs to be done with this card. If you're playing it, I think Kanon definitely at least plays one of it, but it has strong effects. These effects can change a game, especially destroying all cards on the field. So if we go back to the rankings, this card is obviously strong. I don't think this card is, it's not insanely broken. It just has strong effects that can manipulate the game, and they can help you if you use it at the right time. Use it at the right time, these effects can win you the game. So that's it. We have one strong card, three average cards, and one bad card. Like I said, the Yummy card could be average. I mean, if Yummy wasn't already just a great deck, I would say maybe it's an average trap, but they don't need it. I doubt they're going to play it. The Yeah, I just I don't see I don't see why they would play it. The only I mean, can it send? Okay, it can send a Yummy card. Like, yeah, like Yummy. Could they play cards like Foolish Burial Goods? Send this, and then you know send banish it to send the quick play spell. Marshmallow, get the quick play spell. But then Foolish Burial Goods could just send the quick play spell. Why would you be playing this trap? This trap is bad. Um, and then just going over the average cards again. The Dracotail fusion is so underwhelming. I wish it was a quick effect. It would have been much better. And the two Radiant Typhoon cards, one of them is a Reborn card. Those are always going to be average in general, mediocre cards. They're good for archetypes, but they're not busted in case unless they do something insane along with the revive. And then the link to, it can break boards, but it's not amazing. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think of these cards in the comments, and I appreciate everyone watching this video. You have a good rest of your day.